Let's move on to business now on the programme. We're going to start with the Hollywood leadership struggle. This is at Paramount, making the headlines in the US and around the world as well. Shari Pellegrino is here to tell us more about it, Shari.
That's right, Stuart. Paramount Global owns such media brands as CBS in the US, MTV, Nickelodeon, and the Paramount Film Studios, obviously. It's the owner of classics of the American movie canon like The Godfather, Titanic, or Indiana Jones. They've recently been inching closer to a merger deal with production company Skydance Media, spurred on by Shari Redstone, the company's chair and controlling shareholder, who is looking to cash out and could stand to leave with $2 billion. But there have been dissenting voices within the ranks of Paramount, notably from the company's CEO, Bob Bakish, who's claimed the deal would dilute the value of stocks held by common shareholders. As you can see in the merger, the new entity would see nearly half of it owned by Skydance Media and its private equity buyers, while the rest would be owned by shareholders and traded publicly. This Monday, the company announced that Bakish, the CEO, would step down from his position, replaced by a triumvirate of executives representing the different parts of the business. Bakish actually took the reins of the company back in 2019. Those were the pictures that we saw after a previous merger bringing together CBS and Viacom. Let's listen to what he had to say at the time.
With this merger, Viacom-CBS will be one of the largest and most influential content creators in the world. We'll be one of a few companies that will drive the future of our industry across content and production, distribution and advertising on every platform for audiences all around the globe. Looking at the fundamental strengths we share, I truly believe this is a great fit.
Yeah, the company, in fact, has faced many challenges since then, hasn't it?
The entertainment giant continued its decline, which also contributed to reduce the dividend that was Chair Shari Redstone's income, encouraging her to find a way out. The cable TV industry in the U.S. collapsed in the face of streaming rivals like Netflix and in spite of Paramount launching its own platform. And since 2016, as you can see there, the company's market value and share price have fallen 80% to around $12.50 a share currently. Question now is whether Bakish's departure will help facilitate the merger and help Shari Redstone get out of the entertainment business before her asset loses even more value.
Going to take you to Argentina for this next story. Lawmakers there debating two economic reform bills put forward by the country's new libertarian president, Javier Milei.
And among the proposals, new powers for the president to privatize state-owned companies, tax hikes on income, and tax cuts on assets. It's the second time Milei is trying to get his agenda through a legislature in which his party controls a small minority of seats. Brian Quinn has the details.
Outside Argentina's Chamber of Deputies in Buenos Aires, crowds gathered once again to protest the radical economic reforms of President Javier Milei.
It doesn't benefit any worker or any citizen, especially those in vulnerable situations. It only benefits the upper class.
Inside, deputies were in the midst of what was expected to be a marathon debate, as Milei tries again to get his agenda through a parliament in which his party holds only 38 of 257 seats. An initial reform bill dubbed the Omnibus was passed by deputies in February, but saw so many articles rejected in the Senate that it was sent back to the drawing board. Now pared down from 644 articles to 230 and split in two, its ambition remains sweeping, deregulating industries, giving the executive the power to privatize public companies, cutting red tape on new foreign investments, as well as raising taxes on high earners and cutting them on personal assets. Maritime workers and the country's oilseed union have already launched strikes to protest labor law reforms and tax hikes on their wages, with more strikes planned for May 9th.
We hope that the labor unions will call for a general strike, for a fighting plan, because this must be confronted regardless of whether it's approved today or not.
Milei is dead set on slashing Argentina's budget to bring down deficits he believes are behind the country's sky-high inflation, which is running at a nearly 300% annual rate. Monthly inflation has been easing, but poverty has been worsening amid the president's increasingly harsh program of austerity.
Brian Quinn there. Let's have a quick check-up then on how the European markets are doing, Sean.
Well, we're seeing a cautiously positive picture at the open Tuesday on the major European bourses, ahead of a busy day of earnings and inflation data for the EU in April being released. As you can see, the FTSE in London up almost 0.2%, the Paris CAC 40 up 0.1%, same for the DAX in Frankfurt.
Thanks very much, Sean. Sean Pellegrin with the business here on France 24.